Let me tell you something that might just change the whole way you've been looking at this situation. Listen to me real good now. Your value is not, and I mean not, tied to who left you. I don't care if it was your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your best friend, your cousin, your own daddy, your boss, whoever. It doesn't matter who walked away. What matters is what you do with the space they left behind. See, too many people walk around here confused, thinking they're worth less just because somebody didn't stay. That ain't how this thing works, baby. Let's get one thing straight. You were valuable before they showed up. You were worthy before they ever knew your name. You had something in you long before they ever said, "I love you." The problem is, you let their presence define your worth, and now you're letting their absence define your pain. That ain't fair to your spirit, that ain't fair to your purpose, and most of all, that ain't fair to the person you were born to be. You see, sometimes folks don't leave because you did something wrong. Sometimes they leave because they can't handle what's right about you. That light you carry, that joy you bring into a room, that sense of purpose that makes you keep pushing forward even when life hits hard. Yeah, not everybody's built to ride next to that. Some people get intimidated by your glow. Some folks don't know how to love something they didn't create. And instead of rising up to meet you where you are, they retreat. They run. They exit stage left like you were a mistake they made, when in reality, you were the best thing that ever happened to them. But don't you sit there and dim your light just because they couldn't handle the shine. Don't you question your value just because they couldn't see it. That ain't your problem. That's their limitation, not your deficiency. Your worth is not up for debate. You hear me? Your worth was signed, sealed, and delivered by something way bigger than another human being's opinion. You don't need validation from someone who didn't even know how to handle the gift they were holding. Now I get it. It hurts. Let's not play. Let's not act like losing someone don't tear you up inside. You invested time. You gave your heart. You showed them your softest parts, the pieces of you that you don't just hand out to everybody. And for them to turn around and walk away, yeah, that's pain, that's real. But just because it hurts don't mean it's the end. That pain you're feeling, that's not a sign of weakness. That's a sign that you loved. That's a sign that you cared. But now, it's time to care about you just as much as you cared about them. Stop reliving the moment they left. Stop replaying the words they said or the lies they told. Stop letting your mind take you back to a past that no longer fits the future God's trying to build for you. You keep saying, but they were everything. No, they weren't. They were a chapter, not the whole book. They were a scene, not the whole movie. And you still got pages left. You still got breath in your body, and that means your story ain't over. Every time you start to think you weren't enough, I need you to remember this. They left. But you stayed. You stayed standing. You stayed breathing. You stayed fighting for your peace, your joy, your sanity. That's strength. That's value. That's power. And that's something they can't take with them no matter how far they run. So let them go. Let the ones who didn't see you walk. Let the ones who fumbled you keep fumbling. You ain't gotta chase nobody to prove your worth. When someone can leave you without looking back, that tells you everything you need to know about what they were really about in the first place. You don't want someone who's unsure about you. You don't want someone who only shows up when it's convenient. You want somebody who chooses you with clarity, with purpose, and with consistency. And until that person shows up, choose yourself, because your value ain't tied to who left. It's tied to who you are when nobody's watching. It's tied to how you get up after you've been knocked down. It's tied to your laugh, your grit, your prayers, your dreams, your resilience. And none of that depends on somebody staying. You're valuable because you exist. You're worthy because you're you, period. End of story. Let the rest figure it out on their own time. There comes a time in your life when you've got to learn the power of silence. I'm talking about that grown, folk type of silence, the kind that don't need an audience, don't need to be loud, Don't need to post, don't need to explain. See, we live in a world right now where everybody's shouting. People begging for attention, trying to scream their worth into ears that were never meant to hear it. But let me tell you something, silence, when done right, can hit louder than any shout ever could. You don't need to beg anybody to love you. You don't need to chase anybody who don't see your value. You don't need to raise your voice to prove your point. When you know who you are, when you understand your worth, you learn to withdraw. Quietly, cleanly, completely. You don't slam the door. You don't throw a fit. You just walk out of the room like royalty, and you let your peace echo behind you. Begging is beneath you. I know somebody needs to hear that today. I said it and I meant it. If they don't text back, if they don't call, if they start acting funny, you don't beg. If they start pulling back, you let them. If they treat you like an option, you remove yourself from the table. You don't cry into the phone and ask what you did wrong. You don't write a whole paragraph at 2 a.m. trying to win back someone who already made a choice. Their silence already gave you an answer. So now it's your turn to answer back, but not with words. With actions, you withdraw, you elevate, you get quiet, and you get focused. Let me tell you what happens when you go quiet on somebody who expected you to break down and fall apart. You confuse them, you throw them off, because people who expect drama can't handle peace. People who expect chaos can't understand composure. They were waiting on you to chase them, to cry for them, to show them how much power they had over you. But when you sit still, when you stop talking, when you stop explaining and defending and proving, that silence starts making noise. Your silence says, I ain't fighting for a place in your life when I know my worth. Your silence says, I don't need closure because I already closed the door myself. Your silence says, I got too much to build, too much to heal, too much to become, to waste another breath trying to convince someone I matter. You don't owe everybody your reaction. You don't need to respond to disrespect with more words. You don't have to meet their low energy with your high emotion. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is nothing. Let the message go unread. Let the call go to voicemail. Let them wonder where you went. Let them feel the absence of your presence. Because here's what silence does. It shifts the weight. See, when you're the one always reacting, always reaching out, always trying to fix what someone else broke, you carry all the weight. But when you step back, that weight shifts to them. Now they gotta carry the consequences of their own actions. Now they gotta sit with what they did or didn't do, and they will, maybe not right away. Maybe not next week, but at some point that silence gonna start ringing in their ears, loud, clear, unavoidable, and you'll be somewhere minding your business, healing, glowing, leveling up. That's how you win. You don't win by proving you were right. You win by choosing peace. You win by walking away without bitterness. You win by not letting your emotions pull you into places your spirit outgrew. I know it's hard. Trust me, I do. Everything in you wants to speak your piece, say your truth, get your closure. But sometimes silence is your truth. Sometimes silence is the closure. Sometimes silence is the peace that sets you free. Let them think you're cold. Let them say you changed. Let them tell their side. You don't owe the world your version of the story. The people who matter will feel the shift, and the ones who don't, they were never really listening in the first place. So the next time you're tempted to chase, to beg, to scream, to post your pain in cryptic messages online, remember this: your silence speaks. And it speaks with the power of someone who finally knows their worth. You ever seen somebody walk away from a situation not with revenge, not with words, not with drama, but with growth? Let me tell you something. Your glow-up is the best clapback you will ever have. People spend so much time trying to get even, trying to make sure someone sees their pain, trying to prove a point to someone who already showed they don't care. But when you stop trying to get even and start getting better, that's when the game changes. That's when they feel it. Because growth is louder than any argument, any insult, any watch me post you could ever make. Your healing is the real revenge. Your peace is the real victory. Your progress is the real response. Let's be real. Some people walk out thinking they left you broken. They think you gonna crumble. They think you gonna sit there stuck, checking your phone, hoping they come back, hoping they regret it. Nah, not you, not anymore. You're not sitting in the same place they left you. You're not crying in the same corner, listening to the same sad playlist. You're not explaining yourself to people who already made up their minds about you. That season is over. That version of you is done. The new you ain't even gotta speak. Your life gone speak for you. You stop texting. You stop posting for attention. You stop reaching for people who only reach for you when it benefits them. And you start putting that energy into your growth. You hit the gym, you learn a new skill, you level up in your finances, you clean your space, you pray harder, you sleep better, you eat better, you move different. You start walking with that quiet confidence that says, I ain't better than you, but I'm better than who I was when you left me. And suddenly you ain't mad no more. That's the wild part. You don't even hate him. You just don't need them. You're not bitter. You're busy. You're not petty. You're focused. You don't throw shade. You shine. That's power. That's what they didn't see coming. See, they expected you to spiral. They expected a reaction. They expected messy. But instead, you got motivated. Instead, you took your pain and turned it into purpose. That's different. That's divine. Because here's the truth. You don't grow by staying small to match someone else's comfort zone. You grow by doing the work on you for you, and the ones who left you, overlooked you, disrespected you, lied on you. You don't need to drag them down. You just need to rise so high, they gotta Google you to find out what happened. You let your name pop up in rooms they never thought you'd enter. You let your face be the one they see on the screen they scroll through at midnight, wondering how you got there, and the best part, you don't even flinch. You don't even call them back. You don't even throw it in their face, because you finally understand that growth is personal, not performative. You're not trying to impress them, you're becoming you. The glow up ain't just about money or looks either. It's the peace you carry now. It's how you don't argue anymore. It's how you don't chase anymore. It's how you let go without losing yourself. You ain't perfect, but you're growing. You ain't arrived, but you're moving, and every step forward is a message that says, I didn't need revenge, I just needed space to become this version of me. That's the clapback, not the tweet, not the text. Not the story post, the transformation. That's what haunts them. That's what echoes when they lay in bed at night thinking you were just another chapter. They didn't know you were the plot twist. You don't have to announce it. Just do it. Do it quietly. Do it consistently. And one day, the very people who overlooked you will have no choice but to look up, to see how far you've come without them. Not because you wanted to prove anything, but because you chose yourself, because you stopped fighting for a seat at tables you outgrew, because you made peace your priority, because you finally realized that the best revenge is not making them sorry, it's making you whole. You know what messes most people up? They think they gotta wait until everything's perfect before they make a move. They think they need all the answers, all the money, all the support, all the timing to be just right before they take that step. So they sit, they wait, they overthink, they beg for signs, they pray and then do nothing. Meanwhile, life is out here passing by, and opportunity is knocking, but they too scared to open the door unless they got an instruction manual and somebody holding their hand. Let me tell you something. You don't need more signs. You just need to start. You don't need to block him. You don't need to beg. You don't need to post sad quotes, throw subliminals, or hope they notice what they lost. Just do the work, just grow, just go, and watch what happens. See, the moment you stop trying to control everything and everybody, that's when the shift starts. That's when things begin to move in your favor. Because the truth is, sometimes the delay ain't coming from outside, it's coming from you. You sitting there thinking it's them, it's timing, it's the devil, it's bad luck. But really, it's you. You won't move. You won't heal. You keep going back to what broke you. You keep looking for closure instead of building something new. You keep waiting on somebody to change instead of changing the direction you're walking in. You want peace, but you keep entertaining chaos. You want love, but you keep chasing the people who can't give it to you. And you call that loyalty? No, that's self-sabotage dressed up as patience. You don't need to make an announcement. You don't need to slam doors. You don't need to expose anybody. You just need to do the one thing they never expected you to do. Move on without noise. Start building. Start healing. Start showing up for you. Not because you want to prove something to them, but because you owe it to yourself. You've been sitting in the same story too long. You've been rehearsing the same pain. You've been quoting the same heartbreak like it's your identity. It's time to flip the page. It's time to write something new. Start small. That's the part nobody tells you. It ain't about some big dramatic leap. It's about the little daily choices. Choosing not to text them. Choosing not to check their page. Choosing to go for that walk. Choosing to speak kindly to yourself. Choosing to invest in something that feeds you instead of drains you. And then doing that again the next day. And again, until all of a sudden, you look back and realize you don't even feel the pull anymore. You don't miss what you thought you needed. You don't crave the drama you once called passion. You're just free. Quietly, beautifully, finally free. And you know what happens when you start moving like that. Life meets you there. Opportunities show up. Peace multiplies. Real people start appearing. Because when you raise your standard, the world adjusts to match it. You attract better not by begging, but by becoming, by deciding that the version of you who waits, begs, and settles, that version had its time, but now it's over. Now it's time for the bold you, the you that don't flinch when people walk away, the you that don't shrink for love, the you that doesn't need to clap back because your life does all the talking. This ain't about getting revenge. This ain't about proving anything. This is about finally living. Really living fully on your terms, with joy, with clarity, with purpose. That can't happen while you're waiting for them to change, waiting for them to come back, waiting for the past to undo itself. The future ain't waiting for you to be ready. It's waiting for you to move. No more signs, no more waiting on closure, no more cycles, no more excuses. Just start. You'll be surprised what happens when you finally stop watching them. And start watching what God does with your life when you get serious. When you stop reacting and start becoming, that's when the healing starts. That's when the doors open. That's when everything you were praying for starts chasing you. Just do this. Just move forward quietly, boldly, consistently, and watch what happens. Write the conclusion of the speech.